preacher's son, and when his daddy would visit, he'd come along. When they gathered around and started talking, Cousin Billy would take me walking. Out through the backyard we go walking. Then he looked into my eyes. Lord knows to my surprise, the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Yes, he was. Being good isn't always easy, no matter how hard I try. When he started sweet talking to me, he'd come and tell me everything is alright. He'd kiss and tell me everything is alright. Can I get away again tonight? The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Lord knows he was. Yes, he was. How well I remember the look was in his eyes, stealing kisses from me on the slide, taking time to make time, telling me that he's all mine, learning from each other's knowing, looking to see how much we've grown, and the only one who could ever reach me was the son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me was the son of a preacher man. Yes, he was. He was. Oh, yes, he was. The only one who could ever reach me. He was the sweet talking son of a preacher man. The only boy who could ever teach me. I guess he was the son of a preacher man. The only one who could ever fool me. Sweet was the son of a preacher man. The only one who could ever fool me was the son of a preacher man. The only one who could ever reach me was the son of a
That's life.
That's life.
That's what all the people say. You're riding high in April, shot down in May. But I know I'm gonna change that tune. When I'm back on top in June. I said that's life.
That's life.
And as funny as it may seem, some people get their kicks stomping on a dream. But I don't let it get me down. 'Cause this fine old world, it keeps spinning around. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out. And I know one thing, each time I find myself flat on my face, I pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life.
That's life.
I tell you, I can't deny it. I thought of quitting, baby, but my heart just ain't gonna buy it. And if I didn't think it was worth one single try, I'd jump right on a big bird and then I'd fly. I've been a puppet, a pauper, a pirate, a poet, a pawn and a king. I've been up and down and over and out. And I know one thing, each time I find myself laying flat on my face, I just pick myself up and get back in the race. That's life.
That's life.
That's life. And I can't deny it. Many times I thought of cutting out, but my heart won't buy it. But if there's nothing shaking come this here July, I'm gonna roll myself up in a big ball and
Hey everybody. Okay, this clicker works. We're in good position. So QR code here gets you to our interest form. If you haven't heard of our interest form yet, you haven't been paying attention because we've emailed it to you, we've sent it to you in the Luma, we got a QR code. I'm sure it's somewhere tattooed on everybody's body. So should be easy for you to find. This is how you express interest into the teams that you'll be meeting. It'll let us connect you by email so you never lose that contact. They will pester you for the rest of your lives for capital, though, so be careful. Okay. So, for those of you who are new here, Alliance has the great pleasure of saying that it's accelerated over $15 billion worth of startups, and we're now on to our 17th cohort, and we're on to our 4th fund. And we're on to newer and bigger and greater things always. This is the largest crowd we've ever had, and we're so stoked that you all made it here on time. We're also, it seems like we're getting more respect from VCs who show up when we start. So, look, we've got some leading companies in our past, Pendle, Pump.Fun, Rain. These are the kinds of unicorns we're hoping to keep producing. And the process that we do it is we just get a ton of applications. Our teams working day and night to make sure every founder under the sun's heard of us. They apply, and then we screen them. Then we interview them, and then we accelerate them. And today, 16 from those 2,100 or so teams will be here. That's less than 1%. These are the top of the top. So when you ask me who my favorite is, it's very hard to choose because they're all magnificent human beings who've done incredible things with their lives. More incredible than I have, anyway. And so, you know, you'll meet people who've had successful exits today. This is a big number that keeps growing and one that we're really excited to maximize. Over half the teams have founders with successful exits. And that I think is a really strong signal for you going forward. We have people who've made the AI voice for Tesla's customer service. Ex-OpenAI Princeton Stanford team. Guy who sold his fund 150 million AUM. Someone who built the most starred Claude resource on GitHub. It's so popular, it's the 3rd most popular harness. We got a guy who exited at 19 years old. Co-founder of X.AI. Head of engineering at MakerDAO. Someone who had 100,000 users processing $1 billion per year. People with, you know, remarkable stories. They're all worth sort of opening up like a box of chocolates because you never know just what you're going to get. We've got a different makeup, this cohort, than we've had in the past. When I joined Alliance 5 years ago, this was 6 different flavors of DeFi. We had that kind of DeFi, this kind. Now DeFi isn't even a category. Okay, we're at prediction markets and fintech, stable coins and AI. Almost, you know, evenly distributed at this point. The weird and new story for us is AI. We've gotten more and more teams every year. Somehow they didn't know we were a crypto accelerator and then we stopped being one. So we're happy to get great team members from all around the verticals, and you'll see they have amazing pedigrees, so somehow we beat adverse selection there too. Our next application date is July 22nd. People often ask me, how can I help Alliance? There's really only 3 ways you can help Alliance. The others are too hard and don't move the needle. 1, get teams to apply to our program. Deadline's coming right up. They're too early for you anyway. It's fine, send them our way. The other way people can help us is by investing into teams after showing on demo day. So you're already doing your part, and I'm glad for it. There's a 3rd way, but it's too crass to mention here. You can tell me later. So without further ado, here are the demos for today. We're going to have teams come up. They're going to present. It'll be 2 minutes each. Then when you're like, you know, really in the zone and have absolutely not lost focus out of, you know, being berated by 16 founders yelling at you about why their company's amazing, you will then move on to mingling. It'll be a 2-hour mingling session we will have the space open, and you will be able to fill out that form that I told you all about earlier. And then from there, yeah, you'll book meetings with them in New York over the next few days. And so on with the show.
Thank you. Well, all right, here's the interest form again if you'd like to scan it. I'll wait a moment, and we'll also have it up over the networking session. Perfect. All right, so our first presentation is by Fluid Key.
Hi everyone, I'm Moritz, co-founder of Fluid Key, Robinhood for Taiwan. Individual investors in Asia hold over $1 trillion in US securities. In Taiwan alone, they hold over $100 billion in US stocks, growing by more than 20% a year. But for these investors, accessing interest on USD and tokenized stocks is painful. Some try to use their local banks, which can hold their dollars, but they'll never provide yield and will only let you purchase stocks in the middle of the night. So many turn to US offshore brokers like IBKR, which offer better yield. But opening and funding an account takes days of admin and international wires, and what's worse, there's a 40% US estate tax people often discover too late. Fluid Key lets anyone instantly turn their money into yield-earning dollars and purchase US stocks tax efficiently. We started by helping people fund their brokers faster and cheaper with stablecoin rails. Thanks to this architecture, we were able to offer our customers yield the moment their cash left the bank. This blew their minds, and they started keeping their funds in Fluid Key. And with this infra in place, we then realized we could stop users from sending their money to their brokers altogether by offering tokenized stocks. Not only does this save them time and fees, but the nature of these assets lets them sidestep their tax risks in the process. We're now at $3.6 million in deposits from Taiwan, growing 10x since the beginning of the year. Prior to Fluid Key, I built Pulse into a media company serving over 30 million people across 6 African countries through to an 8-digit acquisition. Antonio and I have been closely working together for the past 3 years and are now building Fluid Key from Taiwan. Thank you.
Up next, we have Undeniable Health.
Hi, everybody. I'm Jason, co-founder of Undeniable Health, AI agents for medical billing. US healthcare providers spend $65 billion a year on revenue cycle management. Our wedge into this industry are the 7,000 independent billing companies who struggle to collect fees from public and private insurers. But these companies face unprecedented complexity and sophisticated claims denials as payers deploy AI at scale. And their reliance on human labor is killing their margins. 75% of their revenue goes to payroll. Some of these companies are offshoring their labor to reduce cost. But key states make this legally impractical. And more importantly, these hires lack the required skills and expertise, resulting in reduced revenue shared with clients. The legacy SaaS platforms that these billing companies use are introducing new AI features to help their clients become more efficient. But these AI features are trapped inside their own platforms, unable to impact the dozens of other software platforms and payer portals that these companies use every day. So ultimately, they're saving minutes, not days. Undeniable Health reduces labor costs at scale and increases revenue for billing companies and their clients. We realized that by forward deploying our own billing specialists into our clients' teams, we could automate the majority of the work. They are able to gather the unwritten rules and the tribal knowledge and tackle the friction that lives in between systems. And because we're embedded there, every payer decision and claim outcome becomes part of our knowledge graph. We get smarter with every claim we process, and the knowledge that used to walk right out the door becomes a permanent advantage across all of our clients. In our first pilot, we automated 90% of a top biller's daily workload. 6 weeks later, that became a 2-year $250,000 contract. Our second pilot, which is materially larger, is onboarding right now. I'm a 4-time founder with 3 exits, including Site Comply, which is now part of Blackstone. I met Alex at Columbia Business School 20 years ago, and he's a 4-time founder with 2 exits, including X.AI, which raised $44 million, deployed human-in-the-loop AI at scale, and was acquired. Thanks very much. Looking forward to chatting with you.
All right, up next we have Bullring Finance.
Hi, I'm John, co-founder of Bullring Finance, stablecoin rails for African importers. Africa to China trade flow reached $348 billion last year and is growing at 18% year on year. But most payment service providers won't onboard Nigerian and Ghanaian importers because they fall outside their risk appetite. Local banks can onboard these businesses because they require guarantors and use local verification standards. But once a payment is sent, it takes over 2 days to settle and costs at least 6% in FX spreads. Alternatively, these businesses turn to stablecoin desks for near instant transfers, but compliance falls apart, and one bad transaction can mean frozen funds or fraud losses. Bullring enables African importers to transfer funds to Asia in minutes without compliance risk. After experiencing repeated payment service provider failures ourselves, we realized that the banks had the right verification standards, but the wrong rails. We couldn't convince them to migrate, so we had to obtain our own money service business license to own the onboarding experience. And from there, we could build a rail that converts Naira, CD, and USD into stablecoin before settling directly to China. We ended up building a rail with local bank verification standards and then reducing a 2-day SWIFT journey to less than 5 minutes and an over 6% fee to 0.7%. We are now processing over $19 million weekly and are growing 117% week on week. I previously co-founded Partner, a YC-backed fintech whose parent rails served 12 million customers. My co-founder, Lucius, was senior product manager at Nubank. Lucius and I met while working on a project for Indeed, and have been close friends for over 6 years. Thank you.
All right, one moment. If
Free seats around here. People who are standing back there want comfy. I give you like 12 seconds to come grab them if you want. Come on, guys. So much more comfy on seats than standing.
Love it. All right, our next presentation is Convolax.
Hi, I'm Kushal, co-founder of Convolax, Deribit for prediction markets. Prediction markets hit $63 billion in volume last year and are on track to exceed that by over 500% this year, with the growth largely driven by mainstream retail. But even when users have high conviction, their upside is limited by the size of their bet. To increase leverage, users trade crypto-style perpetual contracts on prediction markets, but temporary price swings can liquidate them before resolution, even if they end up being right. Others borrow money against their positions to increase their bet size. But when prices get volatile, platforms close out these loans early to protect lenders. Convolax lets users get leveraged exposure to prediction markets without liquidation risk or early exit. We realized something important. Prediction market prices don't always move smoothly. Instead, they jump, and they're bounded between 0 and 1. As a result, perps and margin fail, but options are the best way to attain leverage on prediction markets adapted to these unique features. Users pay a small amount for an option and win big if the underlying market moves in their favor. By paying the cost up front, positions can be held through volatile price jumps. Beyond just leverage, options let prediction market traders and institutions hedge their downside risk without selling their position. We've onboarded 3 market makers, completed a security audit. In the past 3 weeks, over 8,000 unique users have traded on Convolac's testnet, and we're now onboarding these users to our mainnet private beta. I studied math and economics at Northwestern and did high-frequency trading at Virtu, the world's largest publicly traded market maker. My co-founder, Rahul, a Wharton grad, traded derivatives at Morgan Stanley and co-founded GammaPoint, a $150 million crypto quant fund, which he then sold to Block Tower Capital. Thank you.
Up next, we have one-to-many.
Thanks for coming. I'm Sebastian, co-founder of One-to-Many, reconciliation for cross-border fintechs. There are over 10,000 payment companies moving more than 40 trillion across borders every year, but each one of them relies on dozens of siloed providers, exchanges, banks, card issuers. As money moves between them, each provider creates its own record of the transaction, so a payout can be marked as sent by a provider without being received by the other one. That's how funds get trapped, delayed, or double paid. Many resort to building reconciliation teams to match files by hand, but these teams can take weeks matching records and still catch problems after the money is gone. When they spot an error, they turn to the providers, but providers can only see their own slice, and often they can't reverse transactions at all. One-to-Many enables fintechs to reconcile their flows end-to-end, automatically and in real time, while everyone else matches records after the fact. We realized that by connecting to the providers fintechs already use, we can validate each transaction before settlement. Unfortunately, each provider has its own APIs and settlement logic. So we built one protocol that translates every provider into one single language our ledger reads. And that ledger checks both sides of the transaction, so by the time it lands, it's already matched. Every provider becomes reusable coverage. Every customer expands the network. And when 2 players use One-to-Many, reconciliation becomes easy and instant across both sides. In our first pilot, we were able to recover $100,000 in lost funds using our solution. This helped us close 3 signed contracts, representing $30,000 in annual revenues. I built this because I made an exit at Plenty, a cross-border payment platform used by more than 100,000 users and moving more than $1 billion every year. And trust me, reconciliation was a real pain. My co-founder, Esteban, was Plenty's founding engineer. We have been building cross-border payment solutions for over 3 years. Thank you.
Up next, we have Recruit.
Hi, I'm Noah, co-founder of Recruit, the AI headhunter for startups. Every year, startups open over 1 million roles, spend more than $20 billion filling them, all parts of a $1 trillion recruitment market. However, 76% of startups struggle to find qualified candidates. They can use a recruiting agency, but each hire can cost up to 4 months of salary, destroying cash flow. Otherwise, to save the cost, they can post on LinkedIn and source candidates themselves. But it's a labor-intensive process occupying months of a startup's limited human resources. Recruit instantly deliver qualified candidates ready for startup to interview at a fraction of an agency's cost. We actually started by serving the other side of the market, helping candidates practice their job interviews with our AI agents. This is when our app took off. We ended up having thousands of candidates ready to work and already vetted by our in-house AI. Every screen we run feeds back into the matching model, so it gets more accurate over time. By working with busy founders, we realized sourcing candidates wouldn't be enough. The entire process must be fast and frictionless. So we incorporated our product directly into their workspace. This way, we can surface candidates as messages and move the hiring process forward on simple reaction emojis. Our user count is growing 50% week over week. With 7,000 of them screens, we have generated $90K in just 2 months. I run hiring for a 200-person organization, and my co-founder Adam built the voice system that handles most of Tesla's customer service calls. We were roommates at USC studying computer science, and we have been working since then. Thank you.
Up next, we have Oversea Pay.
Hi, I'm Rishan, co-founder of Oversea Pay, dollar app for Pakistan. Every year, Pakistanis receive over $52 billion in cross-border consumer transfers. This is the third largest corridor in the world and growing at 15% annually. But for the families behind the number, receiving dollars is still extremely hard. They can use widely available bank wire and money transfer services, but these can take days, and the cost can really rack up across multiple intermediary fees. Alternatively, they can try traditional Hawala networks, a P2P system. These are fast and cheap, but also unregulated and risky, with no record or recourse if something goes wrong. That's why we're building Oversea. We let users in Pakistan receive dollars instantly, cheaply, and without taking on any regulatory risks. I have personally lived this problem. When my own startup used to pay me from abroad, every month I used to juggle across multiple apps for the optimal route. And by the time the money landed in my account, it had gone through so many intermediaries, it didn't even count as income, and my bank refused to serve me. This was a problem all my colleagues and the partners we paid out also faced. With Oversea, users get local rail pay-ins from around the world, and money gets converted into digital dollars instantly with stable coins under the hood. Users can then spend immediately with our card or off-ramp locally. We are building out the last mile here ourselves. Since launch, our volume has grown at 82% month on month, and we cleared June at $300,000 in volume. Our 3-month retention is 93%. Previously, I founded Maqsad, which is now live and the largest edtech startup in Pakistan with 3.5 million users, $5.5 million of venture capital raised. Before that, I was at Europe's largest bank, BNP Paribas, in London in the global markets team. I met my co-founder Hassan at Maqsad. He was my first engineering hire, and I pulled him in from an AI startup to build Oversea, since both of us have lived this problem firsthand. We are now raising our seed round. Thank you.
Up next, we have Greece AI.
Hi, my name is Tahir. I'm the founder of Greece AI, AI-native biodiesel production. 65 countries mandate biodiesel in their fuel supply. This fosters a $44 billion market that's growing 15% year over year. But to make biodiesel, fuel producers have to source raw materials called feedstock. Oftentimes, they'll chase yellow grease made from used cooking oil. It's cheap and tax incentivized. But supply is scarce, making up only 10% of production. The alternative is fresh vegetable oil, which is easy to get, but twice as expensive. Grease AI provides fuel producers with a reliable source of cost-effective feedstock. We realized that supply was being bottlenecked by restaurants. They were fed up of unreliable pickups and minimal profit sharing that incumbents offered. But there wasn't enough profit to share because incumbents can't scale the human capital required to meet each kitchen's needs. Between unique pickup frequencies and operational preferences, it's a nightmare to manage. That's where we built in an AI-native orchestration layer. It routes our trucks, runs our warehouses, powers our sales, prevents theft, and helps us operate much more efficiently. Currently, we're at $300K in ARR in an industry requiring infrastructure and ground ops. We're default alive and we're growing 100% week over week. I'm 22. I founded my first company at 14, and I had my first exit at 19. My co-founder, Matham, is a 2-time founder who most recently exited his bootstrapped business for 7 figures. Thank you.
Up next, we have Valkyrie.
Hi, I'm Emeka, co-founder of Valkyrie, Aave for prediction markets. Traders have already moved $100 billion across prediction markets, with open interest growing 800% just in the last year. But traders are constantly finding themselves cash-strapped when looking to open new bets. To solve this, some bet on margin, which lets them open the same positions with less capital. But since margin platforms can't handle sudden price jumps well, they pile on huge fees on traders to offset this risk. Some use options to open a large position for a small upfront premium. But unless traders predict the exact price on the exact date, their option expires worthless. Valkyrie lets traders unlock cash from their positions without the high fees or miss upside. We realized that prediction market positions can be priced and underwritten just like any other asset. So we can use them as collateral, allowing a trader to borrow against their position. Historically, this has been difficult because the value of a bet is just being too volatile. But prediction markets have exploded, and traders now hold more positions for much longer, allowing us to price the entire portfolio, reducing the volatility. To do this, we compute a score based on factors like correlation between different markets and how much liquidity an event has. Then we're able to provide the loan. I was a software engineer at Google Research and Netflix working on low latency systems. And my co-founder, Alexis, was a quant at one of the largest derivative trading firms in South Africa. We've known each other since we were 14 years old and have been building financial companies ever since. Thank you.
Up next, we have Scout.
Hi, I'm Adrian, co-founder of Scout, AI quant for retail traders. Retail traded as a record 36% of all US stocks in 2025, pouring in $1.3 billion a day. But retail traders are not fast enough to trade the news. Some stock copy trading, which lets them immediately match whichever portfolio they want in real time. But they're limited by selection, and their ideal trader is hard to find. Others leverage automated trading bots, which can run a strategy they choose ahead of time. But they are technically challenging to set up and maintain. Scout lets retail instantly trade the news the way they want without any technical expertise. We realized that we could leverage agentic AI to let anyone monitor the news and trade it in real time. But these agents repeatedly fail to get their bids in. Their multi-step path can lead to broken trades, or worse, lost money. We spent last year building agentic traders that self-repair by diagnosing errors to then learn from their failures. We have over 1,000 active new users within 4 days of launching our beta version last week. Other than that, we just hit 90K AUM. I'm a Stanford alum, and I left OpenAI to train Grok across 100,000 GPUs. And my co-founder Nicholas researched AI agent reliability in Princeton after leaving a Harvard PhD in surgical robotics. Thank you.
Up next, we have Olive Tree.
Hi, I'm Roberto, co-founder of Olive Tree, insurance-backed yield for fintechs. Fintechs like Mercury, Brex, and Erebor are sitting on over $100 billion in deposits, growing 25% annually. They've been offering low-risk yield on these deposits to win customers away from banks. And if they want to continue capturing that market, they need to offer higher yields. But the 3% money market funds they've been relying on have become table stakes. They could move on to products like commercial paper or private credit to push those yields higher, but these products introduce an incremental market risk that goes well beyond the tolerance of your everyday CFO. Olive Tree enables fintechs to offer higher yields without the incremental market risk, meaning a higher return than money market funds while maintaining absolute principal protection. I invested over $3 billion helping insurance companies generate yield for their products. These products are backed by investment-grade guarantees on par with countries like Germany and France. With Olive Tree, we've taken the same proven products and unlocked them for fintechs. But these insurance products have normally locked capital behind high minimums and high fees, making them very difficult to access. We solve this by building a syndication engine that programmatically pools deposits, allowing us to unlock these insurance yields with zero commissions and zero minimums. We have our first $250,000 in assets, our first $1 million coming this month, unlocking our initial capacity of $200 million. I grew a solar company to an 8-figure exit and invested over $3 billion at Northland Power and Fidelity. My co-founder Derek is the former head of engineering at Maker, third largest stablecoin with over $10 billion in assets. And my other co-founder Victoria bootstrapped her last company to over 250,000 customers. Thank you.
Up next, we have Ask Bro.
Hi, I'm Vaibhav, founder of AskBro, agentic shopping for India. India's online shopping market is at $66 billion in GMV and is expected to triple by 2030. But online shoppers struggle to find the right product amongst all the noise. They can manually compare options across different apps, tracking prices and specs, but it's inconvenient and time-consuming. Otherwise, they can rely on reviews and comparison content on social media, but it's not personalized and is often manipulated. AskBro helps Indian online shoppers quickly find the right product for them. We took inspiration from the traditional shopkeeper who asks a few questions, explains the trade-offs, and recommends the best product in stock. We realized we could replicate this experience with an AI agent. But that presented us with a new problem: cost. After talking to customers, it was clear that shoppers would never be comfortable in paying for the inference required from the AI agent. That's when we got creative and decided to offer it for free and monetize commerce, the way Google monetized search. Vendors pay for the order flow. What compounds is a region-specific recommendation base and the network around it. The app itself can be copied, but the knowledge cannot. Previously, I founded Blockflow, a data infrastructure company which I scaled to 500K ARR and sold to Instadap. I then went on to building an open-source AI agent achieving SOTA performance on industry benchmarks. We're raising. Thank you for your time.
next, we have Ito Markets.
Hi, I'm Alejandro, co-founder of Ito, fixed-rate compute for AI startups. Compute spend was $1.3 trillion, making up 22% of the overall cost per company. But compute's unpredictable cost and unreliable availability make cash flows unmanageable. To better forecast spend, companies will sign long-term GPU contracts. This fixes supply, but it takes cash up front and locks in capacity before they know what they need. Or they can buy and own their own GPUs, which not only guarantees capacity, but lowers unit cost. However, the upfront costs are still high, and the domain expertise required is beyond most. Ito solves this, offering guaranteed price and no upfront costs. Customers can buy compute directly from us. Our agent sources GPUs from over 20 providers, hedges the price through prediction market, and delivers it as a single contract at a fixed price. Customers who already have compute can come to us too. Their costs move with the market, so we hedge that price risk. So they get one fixed rate for the compute they already have. And we can do this for any high variable cost. Compute baskets, compute token basket, electricity basket. So no company on earth has to ever worry about the availability of variable costs. 33,000 in fees, 345,000 in volume, 3 hedge fund partners with more in negotiation. I was head quant at the credit custom basket desk at Goldman Sachs, growing it from $30 million to $150 million. My co-founder was a founding engineer at a prediction market exchange. He helped scale to 45 million in volume and built the 18th most used GitHub repository in history. Thank you.
Up next, we have Osiris.
Hi, I'm Terrence, founder of Osiris, AI harness for local models. There are over 9 million US professionals who work with sensitive data, and it represents a $40 billion in AI spend annually. These professionals want to put AI to work, but due to customer privacy regulations, their choices are very limited. Copilot offers those at larger firms on-prem solution with on-prem solutions with the access to the latest models. However, it serves as a chatbot without agentic capability. For those who want those professionals who needs agentic capabilities, they can use OpenClaw, but it allows them to keep their files private and local. But due to technical challenges and security issues, sorry about that. Due to security challenges, as a non-technical professional, it's hard to adopt it. Osiris provides non-technical professionals with secure and private access to agentic AI. Early on, we recognized that local models would soon be capable of performing complex agentic tasks on smaller devices. While these AIs may not have a PhD-level expertise, with the guidance of the harness, they can perform meaningful tasks, condensing hours of work into minutes. We launched 5 weeks ago and have 1,000 users using Osiris every day. And just yesterday, we hit #1 on Product Hunt. And we also have 7,000 GitHub stars to date.
I'm a second-time founder with 20 years of experience working at Netflix, Tesla, and Zillow. And my partner, Sam, has over 26 years of experience closing capital-intensive deals. Thank you.
Up next, we have Timon.
Hi, I'm Tommy, co-founder at Timon, Revolut for African travelers. Africans spend $97 billion a year traveling within and outside the continent. That number is up 15% from last year. However, for them, payments abroad are still broken. Their local bank cards are declining, and when they're not declining, they're stacking up on high fees. So most of them fall back on cash, but that exposes them to the risk of loss and theft. And most places abroad aren't even accepting cash either ways. So they try opening a bank account abroad just to get a card that works. Most of them get rejected. And for those that succeed, funding it with local fiat money is still a struggle. Timon lets travelers reliably spend their own local currency without the high fees and without putting their safety on the line. Here's what I realized after living this problem myself. The card works. The real problem is everyone sitting underneath it. The banks, the settlement rails, the processors, all stacking up their own fees while using old, outdated infrastructures. So we made a decision, rebuild the entire stack using stablecoin rails. It took us 15 months, we built our own stack, and we passed visa compliance. Today, at airports, our customers get a global card that actually works, and they get access to local off-ramps that are faster and cheaper than what the banks can offer. We have now crossed $1.6 million in weekly TPV. We're growing 20% week on week, and we have also crossed $18,000 in weekly revenue. I'm a YC alum. I previously founded a fintech called Payforce. We grew it to $60 million a month in TPV before it was acquired by Fairmoney, one of Africa's leading neobanks. My co-founder, Chizaram, scaled an edtech to 20,000 learners and a fintech to $6 million. Thank you.
All right, and for our last presentation, we have Frame.
Hi, I'm Enzo, co-founder of Frame, a compliance orchestrator for stablecoin fintechs. Last year, stablecoins moved 33 trillion, up 72%, and are becoming fintechs' new rails for cross-border payments. But in order to comply with complex regulatory requirements such as Genius Act and MiCA, these fintechs are forced to stitch together multiple service providers. Some sub for onboarding, Chainalysis for on-chain risk, Nota Bene for travel rule, and so on. To solve for the siloed data between providers, companies hire analysts who manually manage documents, transaction data, and personal information. Not only is this approach error-prone, but it's slow. To reduce errors and speed up operations, fintechs dedicate their engineers to the compliance team, stripping resources from shipping their product and trapping them for life to maintain it, since every new vendor takes 6 months to integrate and rules always need updates. Frame orchestrates fintech user data to automate identity decisions, scaling their compliance operations. We started Frame after running compliance at our last company. At a Taylor Swift concert, 61% of our customers were wrongly declined, and we had to override everyone by hand with data that we already had somewhere else. That's when we realized the decisions were being made without the full user context, even though it was right there, scattered across our tools and internal data. So we managed to connect every internal and external data source in one API and route each compliance call to the most affordable options. We now give fintechs 480 times faster fraud analysis at a 50% lower cost. We signed our first deal in May this year and already have more than 5 million in ARR. I led go-to-market at a payment infrastructure company scaled to 3 million in ARR. Caio built anti-fraud systems for Brazil's largest crypto exchange, Mercado Bitcoin. And Danilo built stablecoin-based global accounts at Conta Simples, Brazil's Brax. Thank you.
All right, everyone, those are our demos for today. Thank you so much for joining. The interest form is here if you'd like to request introductions to any of our teams. But now we'll open it up for some lightweight networking. We'll move the chairs out of the way so you have some room, but please enjoy. Thank you.
Little greenback. Got to find just the kind of losing my mind. Out of sight in the night, out of sight in the day. Looking back on the track, gonna do it my way. Looking back on the track for a little greenback. Got to find just the kind of losing my mind. Looking for some happiness, but there is so lonely. Jump to the left, turn to the right, looking upstairs, looking behind. Looking for